The man just awake didn't notice. The TV behind him was reporting on a mutated virus. Currently, the virus was spreading widely in the city he was in. The virus mutates suddenly within minutes. Infected individuals also exhibit extreme aggression. Although the authorities have advised everyone to reduce travel through the news, Jeff had consistently missed the announcements until he kept encountering ambulances on the road. Only then did he feel something was off. When he arrived at the supermarket to buy essentials, he noticed a small group of people starting to loot. Confused, Jeff could only return home. At this moment, his sister finally called. Since her whole family worked for the government, her news was different from what was reported. According to her, the virus was far worse than imagined. The infection rate had reached tens of thousands per minute. The authorities had already prepared a safe island. As a family member, Jeff was also eligible to board. The next morning, as he got up, he saw his neighbors outside packing things. It seemed the situation was very critical. Jeff quickly got in his car and headed to the airport. Once he reached the safe island, he could reunite with his sister. However, just a moment before boarding, he found that the boarding gate had already been shut down. The airport had closed all flight routes. The crowd fell into chaos. Jeff hurriedly called his sister, but the message was to tell him to go back home. She would send someone to pick him up later. As he was talking to his sister, a man got into an argument with a staff member. He caused a ruckus at the airport boarding gate. He barged into the closed flight area. The security personnel rushed to stop him, but the man stealthily grabbed a weapon. Immediately, the whole airport was filled with noise. Jeff could only hurriedly leave in the confusion. He originally planned to listen to his sister and wait at home, but the road was now blocked with traffic. The situation was clearly different from yesterday. Almost everyone had received the news. Seeing this, Jeff had no choice but to carry his luggage and walk home. By the time he got back, it was already dark, and he saw a police car in his neighborhood. The police had set up a transport route near Jeff's house. Confused, Jeff went over to check, but he saw a good neighbor of his had been tied up by the police after being infected. Now, they were being led away through the passage. Jeff couldn't believe what he was witnessing, but still, he had to return home. The next day, his sister finally called again, but this time, it was bad news, because there were infected individuals in Jeff's neighborhood. The authorities had decided to quarantine the area. Police would take all the residents away, but the destination would be even more dangerous, because the people in Jeff's community were all potential carriers. His sister warned him not to be taken away, to hide in the house for a few days, and she would come to get him, but that also meant survival would become a problem. Jeff rushed to the nearby supermarket, but all he saw was people fighting to get supplies. When he reached the shelves, only a single flatbread was left. An elderly man snatched it away. Jeff stared in shock. With no other choice, Jeff went to the nearby gas station, where he barely found some unwanted crackers. Just as he was about to head back, a wounded police officer bumped into him and locked himself inside the gas station. It was obvious he was infected. Before Jeff could react, he saw another police officer being bitten by an infected person. Jeff quickly grabbed a mop. He initially intended to stop the attack, but the infected person came charging toward him frantically. A gunshot rang out. The infected person fell to the ground. Looking back, it was the bitten police officer. But before he could process this, the police officer inside the gas station had mutated. He kept crashing into the glass, trying to bite Jeff. Seeing his colleague's condition, the officer on the floor seemed to give up. Jeff intended to check on his injuries, but he was stopped by the police officer's gunfire. After telling Jeff to leave the area, the officer decided to end it all. When Jeff returned, he fully realized the seriousness of the situation. He began using the welding tools at home to make a barricade, placing it on the rooftop to prevent any future threats, and tightened the screws on the front door. That night, drones began patrolling the neighborhood. Just as his sister said, the police started taking residents away, officially to a safe zone. But how could it be safe with so many people together? Minutes later, the police began searching every house, but luckily, Jeff had already put up the barricade. He hid inside the house, staying quiet and successfully avoided being found. Now, he had to continue waiting for his sister's news.